With Robert Brown, the head coach, the new head coach of the Wayne Generals. Coach, a couple of things to get out of the way first. You take over a program that's going to be on probation. You're from the area. You're well aware of, why they're on probation. What have you worked on in the off season and the summer to get the attitude in the right place for these kids for week one?
As I would with any team, I worked on dealing with adversity. You're not going to get every call. You're going to get some good calls, some bad calls. You're going to make some good plays, some bad plays, but dealing with adversity. And it's okay to be emotional, and it's okay to be upset, but being able to control that.
We'd heard reports a lot last year the team just didn't have a lot of discipline. What have you worked on as far as making sure that they understand what discipline is and what it means to keep it enforced?
Well, yeah, as far as last year, I can't speak to that. I'm not exactly sure how they ran things because I wasn't here. But we make sure we have a plan for everything. Every part of our practice is very planned. There's not a lot of downtime. There's not a lot of guesswork. The kids know exactly what I expect of them, so it cuts the guesswork out of it.
Have you spent a lot of time talking about it, or just like, hey, it happened, new year, new things?
I've never talked about it formally, maybe with kids one-on-one, but I wasn't here last year. A lot of these kids weren't a part of that. In the same sense of if we won state last year, I wasn't a part of that, so I wouldn't, talk about, what we did last year. If we were fortunate enough to have a great year this year, next year we won't talk about it. It's always about what we're going to do, not what we've done.
Okay. All right, now that we got all that out of the way. 5-5 last year for the Generals. You coming in, you've got some talented kids on this team. You've got a couple of juniors now that are going to step into their senior shoes, and some, you should have a pretty decent offensive line, I would think. Just talk about some of the key players you got back for this year.
Well, we got a lot of guys back at receiver and offensive line. Defensively, not so much. We had a lot of seniors that started last year. Our main goal, or should I say our objective for this offseason is going to be to put guys in game-like situations because a lot of them haven't played varsity. And if they have, they've only played a few minutes here or there. So to try to create game situations constantly, so the first time they run into that won't be, Friday night on the 19th. So,
where do you think your strength is this year?
Don't know yet. It's too early to tell. Well, yesterday was our first day hitting. A few guys really surprised me. A few guys who I didn't think, when they work out, don't look so good, and they brought the pads on and really were knocking the snot out of people. And then some guys, you think are going to be killers, and not so much. So it's just too early to tell. I'll have a better idea after our scrimmage Saturday.
What are some of the expectations and the goals for the program this year?
As far as the team goes, is to win the SAC. And because our SAC is basically our sectional with a few extra teams, so we'll have a good idea about where we'll match up in the postseason. But immediately is to win the SAC.
You guys get tested right out of the gate. You got Indianapolis Tech and you got South Bend Riley. Mountains maybe, but nothing you can't climb over?
Well, they're two tough teams. I haven't seen much of the South Bend team yet because we go one game at a time. But Arsenal Tech, they're a tough team. They have a lot of guys returning back on offense. They run an offense that if you're not disciplined, they can really gash you. You could stop them. They have the ability to bust one. Number 24, the fullback, is really good. And if we don't do a good job of trying to stop him, he'll make you pay for it.
Two good games, I would say, to start to get you into conference play. What do you need to take away? I mean, obviously a win would be great, but what do you need to take away from those two games before you get into the conference?
Well, we always want to figure out what we're not doing so well and work and prepare to improve on that. I'm a firm believer in it's not so much what other teams do as what we do. So a lot of times watching film, I won't be watching necessarily the other teams, watching what we did wrong to correct our mistakes, to take that into the next week so we don't make the same mistakes.